Welcome to this hour's international news. Let's hear the headlines first. Global coronavirus death toll hits 1 lakh. Cases over 1.6 million. US could impose visa sanctions on countries not accepting deportees. WHO warns about dangers of premature lifting of COVID-19 restrictions. Iceland's test everyone goal has skeptics, but it may be working. News media outlets have been ravaged by the pandemic. And Apple Google to create contact tracing technology to fight against coronavirus spread. These were the headlines. Let's jump into the details news now. The number of deaths linked to the novel coronavirus reached 1 lakh on Friday, as the tally of cases passed 1.6 million according to a Reuters tally. The first death came in the central Chinese city of Wuhan on January 9. It took 83 days for the first 50,000 deaths to be recorded and just 8 more for the toll climb to 1 lakh. The toll has been accelerating at a daily rate of between 6% and 10% over the past week, and there were almost 7,300 deaths globally reported on Thursday. The death toll now compares with that of London's Great Plague in the mid-1660s, which killed an estimated 1 lakh people, about a third of the city's population at the time. But it is still far short of the so-called Spanish flu, which began in 1918 and is estimated to have killed more than 20 million people by the time it petered out in 1920. The novel coronavirus is believed to have emerged in a Wuhan market where wild animals were sold last year. President Donald Trump on Friday said the US government could impose visa sanctions on countries that refuses or unreasonably delay accepting people returned from the United States. In a memorandum to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Trump cited the ongoing coronavirus pandemic and the need to ensure the reputation of foreign nationals who violated the laws of the United States. Pompeo must, within 7 days, initiate a plan to impose the visa sanction. If the Homeland Security Department determines a country not accepting returnees is delaying or impeding operations necessary to respond to the ongoing pandemic. The order did not name any countries. The Trump administration implemented new border rules on March 21, citing the novel coronavirus pandemic. Under those rules, US officials can quickly remove people without standard immigration proceeding. The World Health Organization warned countries on Friday to be cautious about lifting restrictions introduced to curb the spread of the new coronavirus and voiced alarm it was taking hold in Africa. The United Nations agency would like to see an easing, but at the same time, lifting restrictions could lead to a deadly resurgence. WHO Director General Tedros told a press conference. He said there had been a welcome slowing of pandemics or epidemics in some European countries, Italy, Germany, Spain, and France, but there had been an alarming acceleration elsewhere, including community transmission in 16 countries of Africa. Nearly 1.5 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 and more than 92,000 deaths have been reported to the Geneva-based agency, Tedros said. Yemen reported its first case of the novel coronavirus on Friday as aid groups braced for an outbreak in a country where war has shattered health systems and spread hunger and disease. Its small population and isolated location, Iceland has earned praise and headlines of its plan to test as many people as possible for exposure to the new coronavirus. Why, some wondered, couldn't other countries be like Iceland? But critics inside the country have called the rosy picture misleading. They say the tiny Nordic island country of 360,000 people has not done enough to suppress new cases of COVID-19, the disease caused by the virus. Primary schools and daycare centers remain open, as do some restaurants with limited seating. Tourists are still allowed to arrive and travel without quarantine. The authorities at first limited gatherings to 100 people, then changed to 20, long after other countries were imposing greater social isolation. News media business was shaky before the coronavirus started spreading across the country last month. Since then, the economic downturn that put nearly 17 million Americans out of the work has led to pickets, layoffs, and shutdowns at many new outlets, including weeklies like 7 Days in Burlington. Finding a sizable audience has not been a problem for publishers. Hunger for news in a time of crisis has sent droves of readers to many publications, but with business paused or closed and no longer willing to or able to pay for advertisements, a crucial part of the industry's support system has cracked. The traffic numbers are still way up, said David Chevron, the president and chief executive of the News Media Alliance, a trade association representing newspapers in the US and Canada. The digital subscriptions are hanging in there, he added. The ad contraction is brutal and continuing. Apple Incorporation and Alphabet Inc.'s Google said on Friday that they will work together to create contact tracing technology that aims to slow the spread of the coronavirus by allowing users to opt into a system that catalogs other phones they have been near. The rare collaboration between the two Silicon Valley companies, whose operating systems power 99% of the world's smartphones, could accelerate uses of apps that aim to get potentially infected individuals into testing and quarantine more quickly and reliably than existing systems is in much of the world. Such tracing will play a vital role in managing the virus once lockdown orders end, health experts say. The companies said they started developing the technology 2 weeks ago to streamline technical differences between Apple's iPhones and Google's Android that had stemmed the smooth operation of some existing contact tracing apps.